you're thinking about buying a large SUV for carting around your large family, I say don't. Buy one of these, they're much better. This is the 2021 Kia Carnival. They call it a GUV or Grand Utility Vehicle, but calling a spade, this thing is a people mover. And it just so happens to be very good at moving people around. This is a 4th generation, all new model for 2021. So new look, new engine, new interior, a lot of new tech going on as well. So there's plenty to get through. Let's crack on and get into it. Kia has launched the all-new Carnival with drive-away prices across the range, starting at $50,390 for a petrol-powered S specification, and that is with an automatic transmission. Our test model is the highest specification available. It's called Platinum. And with this diesel engine, it's also the most expensive variant at $69,990 drive-away. Using the same new platform as the Kia Sorento, this new 4th generation Carnival has grown slightly in the wheelbase, but has the same overall length. It's also slightly taller and wider, and like the previous generation, it has room for 8 on board, with loads of interior space on offer. It's also got the range of Kia's new active safety technology, and there's a lot of it. Autonomous emergency braking that works for pedestrians, cyclists and intersections, blind spot warning and collision avoidance, smart cruise control, driver attention warning, high beam assist, rear cross traffic alert and reverse braking, multi-collision braking and safe exit assist. There are 7 airbags, including a driver's knee airbag and full-length curtain airbags for the 3rd row. While there is no center airbag, there is still a chance this Carnival will get a 5-star ANCAP safety rating, but as yet it's still untested. Special features for Platinum includes a heated steering wheel, puddle lamps, a 12-way electric driver's seat, heated 2nd row, heated and vented front row, and a Bose Centerpoint 12-speaker sound system. As you can see, this is an all-new interior in this Carnival. First thing I've noticed is, compared to the old one, you do miss out on that second glove box up here on the dashboard, but it's a lot more modern. You've got this piece of wood trim that runs along the whole way. It's wood look, I think, and also this piece of chrome that connects up all the air vents. Big 12.3-inch infotainment display. That's the same as the Sorento. That's a new system for Kia, and it's fantastic. You've got really good cameras through here. You can look at all your different wheels and your positions when you're parking. Big maps, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, all of that good stuff. But in comparison to the Sorento, this Carnival initially does not get the digital driver's display up front. That's been a victim of coronavirus, unfortunately. So that will roll out in next year's Carnival. So for the time being, we've got 2 dials up here and a smaller multi-function display. You do get a digital speed display in there and a bunch of other information, so it's not all bad. But otherwise, practicality and storage, this Carnival is still really good. In Platinum specification, you've got inductive charging here, there's room for other stuff here and here, cup holders, a big center console as well, and that glove box, there's only one of them, but it's big. So in terms of family usage and day-to-day, it's fantastic. You really start to see the benefits of a people mover in the 2nd row of this Carnival. Firstly, have a look at legroom. I've got room to burn here, and the front row does as well. There is room everywhere for adults in this Carnival. The headroom has dropped off a little bit because we've got twin sunroofs in this Platinum specification, but you've got a lot of other stuff as well when you go to the top spec. Heated outboard seats, you've got air conditioning controls up there. There's USB points in the back of each seat in the front here. You've got controls so you can move this seat forward and backwards and tilt it to make better access. A couple of cup holders in the front. You've got a flip down cup holder in the middle here as well. Even more space and room for bottles in the doors. And this middle seat is good because when you actually need to sit in it, I'll just flip it back up, you've got a lot of shoulder space. I was sitting in here for a long time with baby seats either side and I was perfectly comfortable. No transmission tunnel, remember. Also, this seat slides independently of the outboard ones and it tilts as well, so you can move yourself back a little bit further, get a bit more shoulder space. If you need to fit 5 adults in here, you're all going to have plenty of room for the long haul. And I can tell you, after driving this Carnival for about 2 weeks with my kids in the back here, who are a little bit grotty at times, this interior cleans up quite nicely. You've got carpet floor mats in every row, in front of every seat. They come out easily and vacuum up well. These seats, which is a synthetic kind of leather, perforated, they wipe down wonderfully as well. Although you do get things drop into these tracks on the seats. a little bit, so they do take a bit of effort to vacuum out. But other than that, this will stand up to family abuse quite nicely. I am singing the praises of this Carnival quite a bit, but I can't help it. I can't get my head around how practical this Carnival is, especially when you compare it to most other large SUVs. And another good example here is the boot. When the third row is folded down, as you can see here, the boot is huge. It's over 2,000 litres and it's flat. But when you flip it up, instead of losing a lot of boot space, you kind of gain a bit at the same time because there's no spare here. The Space Saver spare is slung under the door on the side there. This boot is low and deep. I had a lot of trouble trying to fill this thing up on a weekend away with kids, and that's really saying something. Another nice little feature is the shelf here. Nappies, baby wipes, all that kind of stuff you need to carry around when you've got kids is really handy, and it vacuums up reasonably well also. There's a power outlet here, and the third row, when it is up, is actually pretty comfortable for 2 adults. 3 is a little bit of a squeeze, but let me show you. Electric side doors and an electric boot is handy, and that's on SLI and Platinum specifications of this Carnival. So getting into the third row, one pull on the lever, and you've got pretty good access there to get into the back. In terms of comfort, let me just pop this one up. As you can see, is actually quite good, especially for a third row. The floor is flat, legroom is good, and headroom is decent also. We've got air vents for those hot and cold days, USB points, cup holders. You've got a cool little sunshade there for when the kids are napping. All very handy stuff for a family car. Now there is room for 3 in the back here, but I reckon the middle seat in the back would be reserved for kids only. It's better as a 2-seater, but I have to say this 2-seater in the third row is a lot better than most other third rows, once again, in large SUVs. The 2.2 litre turbo diesel makes 148 kilowatts and 440 Newton meters, powering the front wheels through an 8-speed torque converter automatic gearbox. Kia says this will be the most popular choice in Australia, but a 3.5 litre petrol V6 is also available. That makes 216 kilowatts and 355 Newton meters, but naturally it'll be a bit thirstier. Driving this Carnival is mostly a car-like experience from the driver's seat. The seating position is quite low, the way the steering wheel is all set up ergonomically, it's kind of like you're just driving a big car, although I have to say, you can get caught out sometimes by the length of this car. It's over 5 meters long. It's got a 30mm longer wheelbase than the previous generation Carnival, so if you're not careful, you can pick up your rear wheel going around corners sometimes. But overall, it's quiet and comfortable, all important things for a family car. Once again, like other Kias, this Carnival has had a suspension tune done locally for the Australian market, and it pays big dividends. It's got a really nice balance of comfort and control, like just about every other Kia out there. It's no sports car, but it's not trying to be. But at the same time, if you carry a little bit too much speed into a corner, it handles itself quite well, turns in, doesn't have any nasty surprises. Another big change for this Carnival is the steering. So there is no more hydraulic steering like the previous generation Carnival. Like the Sorento, this has now got electric power assistance. But because of coronavirus, they haven't been able to tune this for Australian taste. So what we're driving here has effectively a Korean domestic market tune. Some people might find it a little bit light, but you also could be splitting hairs for this car. It's comfortable, it's predictable, and it's easy to drive. Once again, all important things for a family car. There is a button down near the gear stick that cycles through different drive modes. So you've got normal, you've got eco, you've got sport, and you've also got a smart mode. So that cycles the car in between different drive modes on its own, mostly through your throttle inputs. So if you do give it a big hit of right foot, it'll go into sport mode, change the gearbox calibration, change the steering, and that sort of thing. And it works pretty well. So while some people might prefer to wait for next year's tune with an Australianised steering map, I think it's still quite good how it is now. So we've got the 2.2 litre turbo diesel. That is the updated turbo diesel that is also used in the Kia Sorento. It's got an aluminium block now, not cast iron, and that saved 19.5 kilos of overall weight. That's a significant number. But in terms of driving it, it's got a really handy punch of torque, around the 1500, 2000 RPM range. And that's all you need for most of your driving. It's comfortable, it's quiet, and running through an 8-speed torque converter automatic gearbox, it's smooth and predictable. once you do get up into the rev range, if you're accelerating heavily, going up a hill, overtaking or something like that, this aluminium engine does emit a little bit more noise than the old iron one, in my opinion. It does get a little bit thrashy in the top of the rev range, but you're not there very often, so it's easy to live with 99% of the time. And because we've got this flash rotary gear shifter here, Platinum specifications do get paddle shifters if you do want to shift through gears and feel like a bit of a race car driver from time to time. But I have to say personally, I've never actually used them because I jump in this car, I turn it on, I select D and I drive, and it's perfectly fine. If you prefer petrol over diesel, there is a V6 petrol as well. That's going to be smoother and quieter and a little bit more powerful, but at the same time, it's going to use a bit more fuel than this turbo diesel. In terms of my own fuel consumption on test, I've put over 800 kilometers on this car during testing, and currently averaging, looking at the multifunction display in front of me here, 8.2 litres per 100 Ks. That is impressive, although I have to say that is a heavy highway driving cycle. So I have seen numbers closer to 9 or 9.5 around town. So if you are doing more suburban driving, bank on maybe 9.5 litres per 100 Ks. But for this size of the car, a bit of acceleration at the hand, I think it's impressive. The Carnival's been a dominant force in the people mover segment for a long time now, and that's not going to change at all. This is still an exceptionally good product. It's got a lot of the stuff that we liked about the old Carnival in terms of the interior layout, that massive boot, the way it drives, the way it rides, it's all fantastic. But now it's got a new look, there's a lot more tech inside, and importantly, a lot more safety as well. So for us, this is still a massive winner. And as always, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already, and also that notification bell to keep up to speed with all of our new car reviews. If you still can't stomach a people mover, we recommend you look at the Kia Sorento. It's a 7-seat large SUV, and we have reviewed both top specification and base model.